stadium is all about making new memories, isn't it? And Tottenham fans have a night they won't forget for a long time. Their first European game at their new stadium, and they've beaten Manchester City. A long way to go in this tie yet, but Mauricio Pochettino, well, he got it right this evening. Did Pep Guardiola get it wrong, Graham, in your view?
I think so. You know, I don't understand De Bruyne, who you know is a match winner. You bring him on with 2 minutes to go. I didn't understand, you know, playing Delph at full-back. They just didn't carry the threat that they normally do. You can see
one shot on target in the game.
You can see that Tottenham did really well, and tactically they were spot on. But you have to say it wasn't City that we've become used to watching. They didn't carry a real threat tonight. Aguero never got, I don't know, do you have 10 touches of the ball all the time he was on the pitch? Is that because Tottenham did so well or because City didn't do so well? I think somewhere in between is the truth. For me, I find it very strange when you can arguably have your best midfield player sitting on the bench in a game of such importance and you decide to bring him on with 2 minutes. If you had something wrong with him, you don't have him on the bench. But to bring him on with 2 minutes to go?
I want to get to Tottenham and give them the credit for the win or dissect their performance. I just want to take up that point that Graham has made. Guardiola, when we hear from him, might say, I've got 8 games in the month of April, second leg of this, big games in cups and league to come, and I need to look after my squad. Do you think that's what he might have...
Prioritise. This is what bigger game have they got coming up than this one? An away tie, quarterfinals of Europe, the Champions League.
I think as well, losing Bernardo Silva is a massive one for them as well this evening. It's a player of that type, that's a big blow for them. But if you're looking at team selection, Tommy, and what they've done, De Bruyne is only just back to fitness. He's only just come back in the last few weeks. He's only really back into form in his last couple of games where you're seeing the real Kevin De Bruyne. I'm sure if you give him the option tonight and ask him, look, how are you feeling? I'm sure he's, look, I'm flying. I want to play in this big game. This is where I want to excel. This is my scene. And I was surprised at that selection more than anyone. Not so much the Delph one. I understand that, but certainly Kevin De Bruyne. Why do you leave that type of player on the bench this evening when you're looking for that little bit of difference in the final third? Because tonight, David Silva was as anonymous as I've seen him. I've never seen David Silva have such an ineffective game like he did this evening, particularly on that sort of scale of match. So, number of questions to be asked, but the game is not dead. I think that's one thing that Guardiola will quickly point out after that game. Now, this tie's not dead. Did
Tottenham do well for you, Brian? How did you feel they played throughout the 90 minutes?
I think they were surprisingly good in their tactical arrangement tonight. Normally, Pochettino, the approach is we'll go and take the opposition on and we beat them with our own game. Tonight, I think he respected City and he had a clear tactical plan. I'm sure he had a week to prepare because of the midweek match with Crystal Palace last week. No weekend game. And you could see that each player knew his job. Sissoko, wings in particular, Eriksson, Son in the wide positions did a very good job. And the back four stayed in place and no mistakes. No mistakes from Lloris tonight or the centre-halves. We've seen Vertonghen make a mistake in PSV. We've seen Sanchez make mistakes in big games. Lloris has made a few blunders. Tonight, everyone stood their ground. They had a ropey spell in the middle of the second half, I thought, from about 15 minutes in until Spurs got the goal. It looked like City were going to snatch it. But they dug in, they found a way to get the goal, even with Kane off the pitch. Massive morale boost, because losing Kane is a killer for them. He's such a main man for them.
We're going to look at that in a short moment, and just to kind of ascertain, you know, we saw Delph and Pochettino having to come together during the game and then after the match. But did Spurs rise to meet the occasion, to the magnificent surroundings of the new stadium?
Yeah,
did it give them something tonight?
Yeah, they did. I mean, they're playing what people regard as the best team in our country and possibly in Europe. And for the largest part, they nullified every threat that they offered, and they played their own stuff. They did play a lot of the football in the second half on the back foot, where City seemed to be getting to the ball first, and they were playing on the back foot, Spurs, but they got a bit of luck with the goal. Delph turns his back on a shot, half turns his back on a shot from Son, which he should, you know, I'll come back to it. He's a midfield player, being asked to do the job at left back, which he's average at, in my opinion. No, I think Spurs will be pleased with their work tonight because I think they showed other teams how to play against City. You know, you still got, when you win it back, players who can run and sprint up front, which Tottenham have. But defensively, I think they, you know, with dropping off, just leaving the one player out of the game all the time, which was Harry Kane, when it went past them. All the other players in Spurs side are still in it at that point. They made life very difficult for City tonight, the way they played. Very difficult. And they will point to that as a way forward about playing when you play City.
Does it give them a lot of hope for the second leg?
Yeah, it's still
It's a
advantage
long,
City. It's
difficult.
still advantage City. You know, you expect them to have more firepower on the pitch and they'll play differently. But I think Tottenham will be pleased with their work tonight. Way a bit alarming for me, when you're 1-0 up. Okay, you're 10, 15 minutes up. Still play your game. It's as if they got all nervy. They brought Wanyama on, and they're just happy to clear the lines. All of a sudden, they stop playing. You got to be better than that when you get to this stage in the competition.
Let's have a look at the goal then, Kevin. You're going to... And it came after that spell that we talked about, that the City were getting on top and Tottenham were rocking a bit.
Yeah, Niall said in commentary, 75 minutes, Spurs were looking a little bit tired. I think Dele Alli here from the long ball might even foul Laporte. Just doesn't look at the ball, just goes to block him off, really. But it's the bodies that get in advance. Eriksen gets in advance. Brilliant here from Lucas Moura. He backs that initial challenge up just to go and step in and win the second ball. Once the ball then does come out to Eriksen, though, takes his time. Son is just on the periphery, just onside. I mean, VAR was checking that incident just for the offside incident. Didn't even check that at the end. The amount of bodies that Spurs have got... Man City have got back in position. Gundogan has got to get out and make a challenge. 6 bodies all in a line across the 6-yard box. We see there, clearly onside. Clearly the ball didn't go out of play as well. Kept it on to get back inside Son. And yes, good goal from Spurs' point of view, but that is easily preventable.
What about Delph? And that's one of the areas that Graham was querying the team selection from Guardiola.
Yeah, he doesn't do enough. He doesn't do enough. He's shown him back inside really there to a goal threat, to his for him to take the shot on. I'd actually look at Gundogan as well, getting back in support. It's a poor challenge initially from Delph, yes, but Gundogan has that holding midfield. They've got enough bodies back there. Go and make the challenge. Go and win the ball. Number of errors.
They've lost 2 matches in the Champions League this year when Delph played. And he played against Leon in the first match. They were beaten 2-1 and he was caught out ball watching. And he swiped his right leg at the ball coming across the penalty area on the first goal against Leon, and he was poor. So maybe look, Zinchenko must have been unfit. I don't know. He obviously Mendy has dirtied his bib a bit by messing and hopping over to Brazil and pictures of him dancing and whatever.
He played at the weekend.
And he played the weekend and seemed to be okay, but he's not
in
the picture tonight. So he hasn't picked the right team and they got punished for it tonight.
Which is Graham's point. And do you think that was Guardiola thinking, OK, it's maybe not my ideal team, but I've got other games coming and I think this will be enough?
Yeah,
Did he underestimate what Spurs were going to bring?
I think he, in many ways, he's overconfident of the squad he has, that he can mix and match and rotate willy-nilly and beat nearly anybody. And he probably included Spurs in the bunch of just above mid-table teams that are capable of beating no matter what team he put out. But again, I go back to what Pochettino did in a tactical sense. He came up with a really strong defensive game plan. Un-Spurs-like, I'd have to say, in many ways, demanding so much of Eriksen and Son in the wide positions to get, and disciplined performance from Sissoko and wings and the full-backs was the base for winning the match. You know, if you don't do that, give City space to play, as Kevin showed before the game, then they'll cut you apart, make loads of chances. So we're talking tonight about Aguero having very few chances on the ball, very few shots.
Aguero anonymous, David Silva anonymous, but more so Riyad Mahrez anonymous tonight. These players he brought in, particularly Mahrez tonight.
Think what a big part of City playing. You see the fullbacks playing in opposition half all the time. Can you remember Walker or Delph being in opposition half at any time tonight? Normally you see the 2 fullbacks push right on and they're doing all the raiding and they're involved in the attacking play. Not once. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. I'm sure there was one, but I said it before the game. I'd love to speak to Pep and ask him what his thinking was about tonight. I mean, you're going to play what would be a very, very hard game away to Spurs, and you know you're going to have to defend properly. For me, the best defender I have at the football club that isn't always fit is Vincent Kompany. Laporte can easily play left back. He's a natural defender. Delph's a natural midfield player. You know, when I say natural, it's in your DNA. You know, you're thinking differently. Whereas Laporte thinks as a defender, Delph will think as a midfield player. And I just thought, strange team. And then to compound or to emphasise my doubts, De Bruyne to bring him on with 2 minutes to go. What? If I'm De Bruyne, Well, you want me to go win the game now, boss, do you, with 2 minutes to go? I find it really strange.
And Sané as well.
And Sané.
Yeah.
And Mahrez hadn't got a kick
it's
on,
kind
man.
of what a manager does. You bring on two defensive players to hang on to a result near the end of the match. He's chasing the game. It didn't make sense.
To make a point with his players, rather than he knows that I've got enough over 2 games to win this. Am I making a point?
But Sané's been outstanding. The last 3 games of the Champions League, Sané scored 4 goals and made 3 goals in the last 3 Champions League games. What's the point to him that you're making? Was the point, I'll leave Mahrez on just to show you that I really fancy him? I don't understand that. What the point was, and I don't understand.
Is it a scientific thing, or where he's looking at minutes, tallying up minutes, and trying
that's
to?
How it
I keep
is.
coming back to the 8 games. In the month of
Periodisation,
April.
Tommy. I think the word you're looking for. That's the one.
He's done his
That's
best.
to do with training. That's not to do with games.
It's game time. It's game time as well. In minutes on the ground. Yeah.
That's a load of tosh.
Yeah.
Really.
So, well, there you go.
Obviously, you can put a monitor on your arm and see how strong it is, a monitor on your thigh, a monitor on your heart. You can't put a monitor on your head to see how strong that is. Everybody goes through a pain barrier at a different time. People can push through one wall and another wall, and there's many walls you put in front of them. Others at the first wall pull up and go, oh, not for me. And you can't look at a squad and put monitors all on them and put all the data into a computer and say, right, they're all the same. They're all different.
What we hear about Bernardo Silva, by the way, was that it was a precautionary move due to a muscle injury. He wasn't even in the squad, so maybe we'll get a bit more information about that over the coming
De Bruyne
days.
was the most difficult one to understand.
Tottenham, from their point of view, though, even tonight it was a huge disrupting factor, and it will have to surely be over the coming weeks. The loss of Harry Kane, it didn't look very good.
No, and the fact he went straight off and didn't try to even get himself back on it. For me, Delph does him here. I think Harry's a wee bit naive the way he goes for the ball. He's just going there hoping to get a block on it. His foot lands and he's followed through there. For me, Delph. I don't think Harry's...
Intentionally?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I mean, there'll be an element of his self-preservation from Delph, but the risk in that is you're going to do him, and he's done him.
Pochettino seems in no doubt about that fact, Kevin.
That's happened under his nose as well, by the way.
You know full well, you look at it from the opposite side as well. You say that the attacking players coming across, if you're in a full-back position and you're going to clear the ball, you can wait till the attacker just comes across, wait that extra second and hit him. And that's exactly what Fabian Delph has done there. At first, I didn't see that, because I thought Kane has gone in to make a physical challenge on Delph. But no.
Is that what you did when you were playing fullback?
Well, I wasn't a great fullback, Graham, as you know, but that's what you can...
You're supposed to disagree there.
That's what,
He did all right for me.
No, but it is. It is. No, but it is. That's exactly what he's done. That's exactly what he's gone to do in that position there. He's just waited for Kane to make the challenge and over the top of the ball. I didn't see it at first in that way, because I thought Kane's gone in strong. Yeah. But Kane has gone in to basically make the challenge, as a striker does, try and get across the pitch. Delph has waited, struck the ball, waited for the challenge, bang, and done him. That's what he's done.
Did that have a huge... It's Harry Kane, of course, it's going to have a huge impact. Not just, though, in his attacking prowess, but just the way the Spurs tried to play.
He was off the pitch 55th minute, and that was Spurs' worst spell in the match. We're sitting watching the game saying, City look like scored now. They started to get a bit of rhythm to their passing. Passing was slicker. They did actually get the full-backs forward, but more, not in really advanced positions, but they looked like they were going to sneak a goal, I thought, in that period of the game. So it had a bearing on the game, and it was just that moment of brilliance that Eriksen could come up with the pass to make a goal.
A concern for Spurs is there was no physio to look at him. Can you go back on? Can you try it 5 minutes? He was straight down the tunnel.
He knew himself. Yeah. He's had the injury a few times. So now you look at him. The last time this happened, we were writing Spurs off in terms of league games, and Dortmund was coming up in the Champions League. In fairness, Son came back into the picture and did his stuff and scored goals.
Tonight.
And he played in the first round of against Dortmund. Kane didn't play in the first leg against Dortmund, got back early for the second one. I don't know, 1-0 away to City, haven't scored a 7 and a 6.
No, it's not enough
already.
Unless they have a really, really good night and City have a bad one.
OK.